Hi everyone, my name is Emma Squires and I'm a master's student at Simon Fraser University in the School of Resource and Environmental Management. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you live today, but I'm happy to be able to participate by video and to share a bit about my master's research that's looking at rural and place-based environmental philanthropy in the Skeena region of British Columbia. Just a bit of background on this research. So it's part of a broader research initiative that's a collaboration between 3 universities across Canada, Simon Fraser, the University of Guelph, and Memorial University. And the research project is funded by the Social Sciences and Research Council of Canada, and it's taking a multi-case study approach with case studies in BC, Ontario, and New Brunswick. So my research is providing one of these case studies and looking at environmental philanthropy in the northwest of BC. The research objective is to examine the emergence of place-based philanthropy as a mechanism for rural revitalization and development. And this research is asking 3 main questions. How is place-based philanthropy being used in rural Canada? How can place-based philanthropy enhance rural sustainability? And how does place-based philanthropy modify our understanding of rural economic and community development? So I'll just give a brief background on some of the literature that my research is grounded in. So a key characteristic of rural places is that they're very rich in natural capital, and it's a unique asset that really supports local quality of life and provides opportunities for economic diversification. But these natural assets are under threat in a lot of places due to unsustainable resource extraction and the impacts of climate change. And rural governments have limited capacity to respond because of their expansive mandates and their small tax bases. But protecting and promoting natural capital is critical to rural resilience and revitalization, and natural assets can really be a pillar of place-based sustainable development. In many rural communities, the philanthropic sector has really stepped up to fill some of the gaps left by government withdrawal. Rural communities have a higher proportion of philanthropic organizations per capita. There are over 18,000 rural philanthropic organizations across the country, and there's been a growing attention to the role of the philanthropic sector in building community and environmental resilience. So my research takes place in the Skeena watershed, which is an area roughly the size of Nova Scotia in the northwest of BC. It's home to about 60,000 people. Terrace and Smithers are 2 of the main population centers in the region, and Prince Rupert and Kitimat just lie on the border of the watershed. And it's also the traditional and unceded territories of a number of First Nations, including the Tsimshian, Gitxsan, Wet'suwet'en, and Tahltan peoples. Not only is it an incredibly beautiful area of the province, but it's also richly endowed with natural assets. It's one of the most productive and biologically diverse watersheds in Canada, and it's also one of the most important salmon watersheds in the world. It's home to all 5 species of Pacific salmon and steelhead trout, and salmon are really a cornerstone of local culture and identity. They're also very economically important to the region, and they've been valued at contributing over $110 million annually. But the region is also a globally significant contributor of natural resources, including oil and gas, mining, and forestry, and there's a major port in the city of Prince Rupert. And so because of the tension of industrial and ecologically significant environment, a robust environmental philanthropy sector has really developed in the region with a number of locally based nonprofits, societies, foundations, and trusts that have environmentally oriented mandates. But the region is really in a state of transition. Economically, local governments are advocating for change because most of the economic activity from industrial projects ends up leaving the region and providing little economic benefit to local communities. The region is facing an infrastructure deficit that's estimated at $600 million. And industrial activity is also having negative impacts on the local environment. And climate change is only going to make these impacts even more severe by putting additional stresses on the ecosystems. For example, the wild salmon population has declined by 70% over the last century. And the Northwest BC Resource Benefit Alliance, which is an association of 21 local governments, has said our communities are vastly unprepared to support what may come about in the future. So as the region navigates these challenges and aims to rechart its course, My research asks, what role does environmental philanthropy play in regional development and sustainability in the Skeena? So I took a qualitative case study approach to this research, and I conducted semi-structured interviews with 19 participants. Participants were from local NGOs, government representatives, and First Nations groups. And I then transcribed and analyzed the data using NVivo software and coded it to identify key themes. And this research is very much still in progress, but the preliminary findings show that place-based environmental philanthropy in the region is playing a really important role in regional development. It's bringing in significant external capital and blending it with local capacity. It's promoting dialogue about regional development, and it's creating regional-specific environmental data. And it's also supplementing the capacities of local governments and First Nations. I'll have more to share on my findings once my research is complete in September 2021. And one of my final deliverables will also include a community report to share back to the region and to all those who participated in the research. Thanks so much for listening. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or my supervisor. Our emails are both right here. And Sean is also going to be speaking in the next panel, so you're welcome to ask him any questions as well. And if you'd like to receive a copy of my research once it's complete, please reach out and I'll include your email on my distribution list. Thanks so much and enjoy the rest of the session.